Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. It's race number 3, and we are at a very, very damp Imola. And the guys are going to be very much challenged this evening. Hope you're all well. Welcome to Tressa, Lesser, Crack, and Mr. Links. How you doing? Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, so we've got a few minutes left in the practice, but that gives me time to be able to show you what's been going on in the season so far. So if just in case you guys want to get involved with us, if you head over to SimGrid, you will be able to go and see the RTO GT3 season. So just type into the search bar RTO League, and then that will bring you to this page, and you will be able to sign up after this round is done as a wild card. So if you want to come and get involved with us, you are more than welcome. So as we are 2 rounds in, 3 races in, I know that sounds weird, but we have last week we had 2 races at Red Bull Ring, and this week we have 60 minutes with a practice session. Sorry, with a pit stop. With a practice session, we definitely have that. But with a pit stop. But you can see Matt Whitburn is leading the way currently with the worst results scratched off from Thomas Nopek, who had an interesting couple of races at Red Bull Ring. He managed to win the first race and then left the server between the 2 sessions, and then ended up at the back of the grid, but managed to fight himself all the way back to P4. So great comeback from Thomas last week. We have Sigurd Refsvik in P3, Dan Watts in P4. Bear in mind, Dan missed race 1, but is back this week. Had a bit of a tough time at Red Bull Ring, so looking for much better races this week from Dan. You can see a couple of penalties there, but if you look to the right on the points, there's a little asterisk that just says that there's been changes, and those 10 points have been rectified because they are in error because of the first race. It says they didn't start, but they did, so we had to just change those results for them. If we go over to the silvers, you got Rasmus Abelstedt from Christoph Holzer, around about a 14-point difference in the lead of that championship. Then you've got Jordan Lockwood and Fabian Wenger in P4. So don't forget, the first drop round is their worst round it's dropped. I'm not quite sure why it's dropped the P1 for Fabian Wenger, but I'm pretty sure that will change as we move forward in after this round. That will move to whatever it is this one, if it's not a 4th or worse, and then if not, it will be that 4th position that will be scratched off. Then you got Tom Solis from Elias Linda, Paul Whitburn and Elshard Perry from Dreambound, who wasn't able to race with us last week, and those 20 points will be changed because he couldn't sign out. So there's 20 points back for for Dreambound, so that puts him up to 62 points. We'll move him up to 6th place, so we'll get that sorted out for him next week. And then we've got the AMS. So at the moment, Ben Munro leading the way comfortably in the AM standings from Phil Mitchell and Daniel Solis. Phil Mitchell had a great race, round number 1 from the Nordschleife. And Daniel Solis in his first RTO League is up into P3. So great results from him. Joint points actually more at the moment with Phil Mitchell. So looking forward to seeing what those 2 can do. Daniel Zlatnik will be a bit, comfortable for P4. At the moment, but we'll be looking for a much better result this week. He could have had 2 podiums last week, but unfortunate incidents made it so that he couldn't do it. Ivan Mitrev will have those 20 points back as well because he did sign out or couldn't sign out for the race, but we will make sure that they're put right after this race as well. So there we go. Byron Bond, Chris Wilson, Russ Brown, and Andrea Luongo in the top 9 there with Cappy Maid, rounding off the top 10. And we don't forget we got David Blythe as well at the bottom there. And then the last but not least, we have the wildcards. There's only 3 wildcards. These guys are just here for some fun. We have David Grenez, who has joined us for this week. So this is his first race in the Honda. So there is now 2 Hondas, Matt Whitburn and David Grenez. So they'll be interesting to see how those 2 guys get on in the Hondas. But Paul Cook is leading the way comfortably at the moment from Damien Borg in the BMW. So yeah. But like I say, we're just looking ahead. Oh, wrong one. That's the one we wanted. Sorry, my bad. You've got Taleo on the left. You've got Imola, which is in the rain, as you can. You'll be able to see momentarily. And then not next week, because we are off next week. There is no races next week. There is a week break. And then we move on to July 11th, which is Laguna Seca. And that is 2 times 25 minutes. And I can tell you now, ladies and gentlemen, the tyres are going to be screaming because it's going to be warm. So there you go. Barcelona, you'll see a dusk race there. And that will be back to the 60-minute race with a pit stop. And then the final round, which is Zandvoort. It's in the rain and it's 2 times 25 minutes to cause some extra jeopardy for the drivers. We are about to get quali underway, so once that kicks over to quali, I will bring you guys in. I can tell you now, there is nothing between the two at the front of the grid on this one. I'm not going to ruin it for you. All I'll tell you is it's 0.05 of a second covering the top two. At the front of the grid, and then 0.08 of a second between the two silver drivers as well. So looking forward to seeing this quali because it is going to be very, very, very close. But welcome into the chat, everybody. Thanks for joining us. As you can hear, well, not hear, but you will be able to hear in 1 second that the cars are now starting to come out of the pits and the garages. So we will follow them out right now with the live action from the track. But welcome in, chat. Thank you so much for joining us once again and all your support that you give us here at RTO. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as well to keep an eye on when we're going to be going racing next. Hit the little bell so we can let you know whenever we are going to race. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how this goes. We've got the P&O Bentley this time from Mr. Brian Bond. So we'll see how this how he gets on in that Bentley this time. The Bentley, I mean, being in mind, it is a boat, the Bentley boat. We're hoping for good things here. You can see how wet it is. There's not a dry line at all. So as these drivers start to circulate, you will see a dry line starting to appear, which means if you stay on it, you'll be able to get a little bit of extra speed than if you go off on the wet stuff, but sometimes it can actually be quicker to brake on the wet stuff, depending on how wet it is, to get better grip. Mr. Refs, how you doing? It's a shame that you're not able to join us today, and but yep, good to see that you're here. Don't forget, next week we are off, but we are back again on the 11th of July. It is slippery when wet, Ryan. That's what I'm going to say there. Slippery when wet. So who's your money on for the pole in the AMS? Are we going to be seeing a new pole sitter? Can Mr. Wilson in the Aston do anything this week? Or are we going to see Ben Monroe or Daniel Solis, who are, you know, very, very quick drivers for the AMS? Are they going to be able to snatch pole position? Or is the man that we see on the track in the car's natural habitat going to manage to stick this thing on pole? P&O Cruises, ladies and gentlemen, 50% off if you go... No, I'm joking. It's a joke. We're not sponsoring P&O Cruises. Or sponsored by P&O Cruises. Because that would be fun, right? Alright, across the line to start his first flying lap. Let's see how Brian gets on this one. On the left is the camera, on the right is the driver. Some of you might not be used to that. Looks like he's got a bit of understeer there. Changing a little bit early, I think, on the upshifts. Don't be scared, Brian. You won't blow the engine, I promise. She can take it. And then as we climb up the hill, tell you what I do need to do, which I haven't done yet. So, yep. Through Acqua Minerale, then we climb back up the hill. Variante Alta is the next chicane. This way you have to hop over the curbs, get the car back over to the left-hand side, and then hop over the curbs. Literally have to take as much as you can physically can. And the Bentley used to be very good, but missed the one on the inside. Hit the first one, but didn't quite hook up the second one with Mr. Bond. Shaken, not stirred. Ben joined. Ben? As in Mr. Nergard? I'd hope so. And round the final corner, so we've got Chris Wilson with a 148.657 is the time to beat at the moment. And Brian crosses the line, 4.8 seconds back, so that was a very good lap from Chris, and I'm sure Brian will improve on the next one. How is Mr. Solis, Daniel Solis, going in the McLaren? Come around the final corner, twin brother of Tom. Mr. Cook crosses the line. Don't forget, Mr. Cook is a wildcard driver, so don't panic about them being on track just yet. They are allowed. I can't get them for whatever reason. It will not allow me to switch them to Pro-Am. I've tried everything to get them to Pro-Am, so it's not allowing me to do it. So, yeah, pain in the backside, but never mind. But he is 1.2 seconds back, so that shows how quick Mr. Wilson is. That is a car off the track. I think that might be Mr. Grimes. Yep, David Grimes, Fear Nothing Moto Racing. We've got 3 of these drivers in now, so great to see another driver join us. Oh, Grans, not Grimes. Grans, sorry. I just said that completely wrong. Ref's is going to kill me because he's Norwegian, so I've just ruined his name as well, so I do apologise. But Fear Nothing Moto. Come around Tosa, climbing up the hill to Perialta. Through the left-hand bend. Wilson, that lap from Wilson is an absolute barnstormer at the moment, so that shows how quick it is. Russ Brown currently in P5, 7.1 back in the AM so far. And I tell you now, Mr. Gran will be looking to get a much better lap in this, in this quali than he's just put in. So, yeah, Daniel Solis 3.9 back in the McLaren so far. The wet really does level the playing field out, and it shows who is the cream and who is the people that maybe just need to do a little bit more practice in the wet, because it does. I tend to find, I don't know about you guys, but I tend to find it can be quite good fun racing in the wet. I've been quite enjoying it on Le Mans Ultimate actually, because you can't see a thing, guys. Like literally, you cannot see a thing. So, yeah, it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, cross the line. He will go. Let's have a look and see how Mr. Wilson's getting on. He is currently up 0.3 on this lap. Brian Bond up half a second so far, and the person on the move, watch this lap. There we go. Russ Brown pops himself into P2 for the AMS, 1.6 back. That is a great lap from Badger Racing. Absolutely fantastic. New livery back on that car. Black one with the Badger on the side, 427. Really enjoying these livery changes they're having every week. Keeps me on my toes. Daniel Solis is up 0.4 seconds. Now he's up 0.5 seconds, so that's interesting. And this man is really on the move. 2 seconds up at the moment from Brian. So let's see how he gets on through Aqua Minerale. Keeping it nice and tidy. Still gaining. 2.4 is the... he is up currently on this lap. Let's just hope he just keeps it together now, because that will make him a lot more competitive within the AMS, and it'll tighten the whole bunch up. Nice and tidy. Hit both apexes this time. Didn't carry too much speed through the first part. Up 2.5 seconds so far. So this is going to be very good. This is going to put him into P4 at the moment, depending on how he gets on the final 2 corners. Really wringing the neck out of the Bentley. Now the car tyres and everything else are in the window. Nice and steady on the exit. Doesn't use the curb. That's good. It doesn't like using curbs. But this is going to be a good time. 2.5 seconds uplift for Brian, and that pops him into P5, just behind Daniel Zlatnik, who's now just gone into P3 in class for the Team Snow Esports. We do love that livery on that car. We really do. Andrea Luongo for Team SPX. A lot of the Team SPX have unfortunately decided to leave the league. But we wish them all the best, and thank you for joining us for the races that you started off with. But we still have Luongo. So let's see how Luongo gets in. This is going to be a good lap as well. This is going to put him up potentially into P6. In fact, this is going to put him up to P6. It's actually going to put him up to P4 potentially. And he crosses the line. There we go. Point P4. Look at that. Absolute brilliant. That 15 hundredths of a second in front of David Grans. So It's all to play for. Most of them are on their final laps. Chris Wilson, a 48.1, has really stretched the legs, and he was on a faster lap, but he's now down 2/10, so he's made a mistake through the chicane, through Variante Alta, coming down into the final couple of corners into the Ravazza, out the final corner, and unfortunately he hasn't managed to gain on this lap. But I tell you what, once again, the man on the move, Russ Brown, if he can do this will put a bit of distance between him and the rest of the AMs, although Andrea Luongo is also on a very good lap. Brian Bond has boxed. Oh, no way. Commentators curse. Up a second on that lap was Russ Brown. So that's a shame. As we ride on board with, let me just talk loudly so you guys can hear me. The Mustang. Let me just drop that down a little bit because you don't need to hear you don't need to hear it that loud, do we? Do we? Graness, thank you for see that I need people like you in here, Rasmus. I do apologize if I get your names wrong. Please forgive me. Oh no, he's just lost it on the final. The Mustang is an absolute pain for that. The back end of the Mustang just saying, no thank you, I'm out. So the only one left on the track for the AMs is this man, Daniel Zlatnik. Can he improve his lap time? Oh, he's got to keep it on the track first. He was up 4/10, but just ran it a little bit wide there, and has lost all of that and some as he comes in to the two Acqua Minerale corners. Or I suppose not two, is it? One, but yeah. Ben Monroe is now decided. I think that's it as well. Sorry, he was on the track as well. I should have spotted that. My bad. So all the pros and silvers are out now. We'll catch them up in a sec. We'll just finish watching Daniel complete his lap. But that just shows how Chris Wilson has popped it into pole. He's done an absolute fantastic lap there. 0.8 of a second quicker than anybody else. And in the same class as him, 2 seconds quicker. So that's going to make a very good reading for him. I'm sure he's very happy. Well done, Mr. Wilson. And Zlatnik, oh, he's clawed some of it back. Is he going to improve his time? And the answer, he does improve, but just not enough. But well done, Daniel. Great lap, sir. And that's all she wrote. Right, so who do we think is going to be on pole for the silvers? Do we have Fabian Wenger here on your screen? Down as number 1. Ben has decided that he wants to just stare at a wall in the beamer at the bottom of the screen there. So he's obviously found his mum and he's waving. Or is Rasmus Abelstedt for Fear Nothing Moto, teammate of David Graness? I said it right now, see? I probably still haven't, but it's closer than I was saying. Can he take pole position in the silvers? Or are we going to have some people that we have had in RTO quite a few times? Mr. James Warren of SOP Racing. Can he make anything? Or Christoph Holzer? Keep an eye out on these guys. Very, very quick. And in pros, who do we think can take that top spot? Do we think Dan Watts is on a comeback charge for the RTO drivers and seeing if he can match and get a much better result that he hasn't managed to do? Don't forget, he is carrying an injury. Not only did he nearly chop his toe off about 7 weeks ago, won't discuss you with the details on it, but yeah, then last week he managed to badly twist his ankle and he could barely press the accelerator pedal. So luckily it was the accelerator, not the brake. That's the way we look at it. But yeah, can Dan Watts do anything? Or Aidan Carter back for Onid Esports. Great to see Onid taking part of RTO. Can the Onid driver represent what is a great community over at Onid, as we know, very, very big. Keep an eye out for them on SimGrid as well. Definitely check them out for racing and their leagues. They do some enduro events as well. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on what they're doing. Or can we see... Oh, he just jumped away from me there. I don't know where he went, but I was going to say Liam Page, but he, I think, has just popped it into P2. Matt Whitburn, 47.0. Liam Page in the other Bentley. the only other boat on the grid representing. So as far as I'm concerned, he's won the championship in my heart because he's a hero. Same with Brian in the AMs. But he is P2 currently. Aidan Carter pops it into P3, just a tenth and a bit further back. But then now Justin Silvers will get that benefit where the track has just started to dry slightly and it gets a bit of a drier line. So yeah, but Matt Whitburn is on an absolute stormer here. If he can continue with this lap, yeah, Liam Page has just decided, nope, that's enough for me on that one. I need to make some changes. So he boxes, crossing over the chicane. Matt Whitburn in the Honda for RTO. We haven't got a livery for it, but I promise you it is an RTO car. Is on for a much better lap again. He's got 2 more corners to go through the Ravazzas and onto the final straight, and he's gained again. So this is going to put him into the 46s, and then you're going to see an extra digit in front of Liam's time once he goes across the line. There we go. 1 second is the gap now. So Matt is on an absolute charge. This guy is an absolute hero in the Honda. He was racing with us in the McLaren last season, but is really putting it on so far this time around. James Rawlings crosses the line. 7th at the moment. Was a little bit... no, that was his best lap. He did improve on that lap. Jadibal for Fear Nothing Moto in the McLaren as well. P7 currently, so I'm sure he's looking to try and pull those times down. But if you look from, what's that, 6th to 10th, those 4 drivers... Oh, so yeah, the 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th, there's less than 3 tenths between them. The rain, bear in mind last week, the gaps were a tenth of a second. The rain really does make a difference. And again, showing you how good that time from Mr. Wilson was. What a lap. What a lap. Fabian Wenger, Bavarian sim racer, is up into P1 for class at the moment. Only 1/100th of a second behind Chris Wilson. So I'm sure he'll be trying to find that time in this lap, because if he can, then he'll put him up into the top 6. Very, very good driver. Very, very good driver is Fabian Wenger. Looking forward to seeing how he goes on this race. Christoph Holzer in P2 currently, and James Rawlins as well into P3 in class, P10 overall. It shouldn't be lagging, I hope not. Is the stream good, guys? So James going to cross the line and go again. 2 minutes 30 to go. Is it good now, Lessa? Please let me know if it's good or not. If not, I'll have to stop it and start it again. I don't want to do that before the race, obviously. If it's severely lagging, then I need to know. Oh no, there we are, dropping frames. Why? Alright, I think I might need to... Just bear with me a second, guys. I might need to... Once the quali's over, I might just stop the stream and restart it. I think I know what I need to change, so just bear with me a minute. We'll finish this quali, and then I'll stop it and then restart it very quickly. So don't leave the channel. And we'll get it up and running and ready to go. Apologies for that, guys. Just trying to see if we change the... Anyway, James Warner's coming round. He's not looking like he's going to improve on this lap. But Matt Whitburn still out in the lead at the moment. Paul Sadlowski popping up to P4 earlier as well. Liam Page has now dropped down to P3 with Dan Watts just creeping in half a second back. Both Liam and Dan have improved. So it'd be interesting to see how it goes. But Matt Whitburn, what a lap that is in that Honda. That is a great lap. Better now, okay. I've got the stream running I'm looking at it now and in 2K and it seems fine, so if you are having issues, I do apologize. Yeah, maybe like say just drop it down to 1080 or something like that. See if that works, because we do try and stream it in 2K here. So that is all she wrote. So anyone who's on a lap now can finish it. I'll tell you who is on a much better lap this time. Dan Watts. He's only 4/10ths back, and he's doing a better lap this lap, but he's just lost a 10th or two coming out of the last couple of corners there. So it'd be interesting to see if he's able to grab that back as he comes down into Aqua Minerale. He has gained a little bit, using all the curb on the inside as he flies it up the hill. Matt Whitburn is not improving at the moment on this lap. Aiden Carter, P3, great lap from Aiden, and has now decided that is enough. Liam Page is still on a lap, but he has invalidated, so his will not count, and I believe he has stopped. Paul Sadlowski isn't on a better lap yet, but he's, well, no, I say that now, he's now just matched his time, and so is Matt Whitburn. Matt Whitburn has found more time as well, so obviously he made a mistake somewhere. Can he make a better lap on this one? No, he's actually made a mistake. Dan Watts is still up on this lap. I'm not sure it's going to be enough, depending, he has to get a hell of an exit out of the final corner, and unfortunately has lost the time that he had gained, so I think he still might improve, but I don't think it's going to do anything to Matt's P1 status. He does cross the line, does improve, and goes 0.340 behind Matt. Aiden Carter locked in at P3 so far. Paul Sadlowski crosses the line, doesn't manage to make a better lap there, and I believe Christoph Holzer is still on the lap. He crosses the line. Is he going to improve his lap time? He doesn't need much. He does, but only by 0.002 of a second. And he crosses the line and is P9. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We will move over to the grid momentarily. It just say that we have dropped frames. We've dropped 1 frame, so I've just tried to patch that out a little bit, to hopefully that'll help now. So yeah. So as you can see, we are at Imola. If you're new into the stream, welcome. Thank you for joining. Longo was out with pros. Here's an AM. Oh, really? How long was he out for? I didn't see that. We have lost a frame again. That's really annoying. I might just try something. I don't know. Don't want to risk it, to be honest with you. If I shut the stream down now and it won't start again for a reason, that'll be annoying. All right. Okay, I am going to try and just do this change a minute, guys. Just bear with me 1 second, and then we'll be straight back. All right, hopefully we are back now. Okay, we are back. We are back. Okay, right, so hopefully that solved that problem. Great lap, Aiden. Absolutely amazing lap, sir. And yeah, hopefully you can have a good race from there. So, on pole position, Although it is going to work this time. There we go. So Matt Whitburn from Dan Watts, both RTO drivers locking out the front grid with Onade Esports. Aidan Carter popping into P3. Alongside him is Liam Page from SOP Esport Racing. Then it comes the next two RTO drivers, Paul Sadlowski in the Ford Mustang, and alongside him is Ben Nergard in the BMW, and Timothy Jadubal for Fear Nothing Moto in P7. Then it's the first of the silvers, Fabian Wenger pipping everybody with a great lap and moving himself into P8. Alongside him is Christoph Holzer, and then goes back to the first of the AMs with the lap of qualifying as far as I'm concerned. Chris Wilson, Tom Solis is P3 in the silvers alongside James Rawlins, and Jordan Lockwood for the Galaxy Beamer, and we're going to just leave it there for 1 second so you can have a look at that marvellous livery. And then alongside him a Lungo, but we might need to check and see when he was out with pros, because if he was, then there could be a big penalty coming involved in that one, so we'll have to look. Paul Whitburn, RTO Racing for the silvers, and then in front of Paul Cook for the wildcard entries, and then we've got Elias Linda, Rasmus Abelstead for Fear Nothing Moto, Russ Brown, Elshark Perry, Daniel Solis, and then David Grenes, one of the other Fear Nothing Motor drivers. Great to see we've got a good bunch of these guys joining us. Bring more of your friends, that's what we say. Then we've got Daniel Zlatnik in front of Brian Bond and Ben Munro. So looking forward to seeing how this gets going. But this is going to be an interesting race because obviously the spray at the start and all the wetness, we just want to see a nice clean getaway from everybody. Get the first lap done. There's a long way to go. It's an hour-long race with a stop, so there's tactics and everything else involved in this. Strategies will come into play. So you need to make sure that you're doing everything in the right way. If we can maybe get a notice in the chat from the race director or the stewards to let them know that rain lights must be used, that would be great. And then we can get on with getting you to the start line for race start in the green flag. So Matt Whitburn leads them all away on the way to the grid. So let's see how we get on in this one. As far as I can see, we are not dropping frames now. We are streaming at 20,000 bits instead of 8,000 bits, which is what the problem was. So apologies if that dropped out for you in that quali, but you should be ready. You better sit back and get ready for this race because it is going to be an absolute barnstormer. 60 minutes of wet Imola, and yeah, I mean the first couple of laps they're going to be a little bit treacherous. The dry line will not have appeared, but after that happens and there is a dry line, then you'll start seeing the time start to fall. Don't forget, fastest laps are for each class as well. So each driver that does the fastest lap in each class gets an extra 2 points. So keep an eye out to see who those fastest lap times are during the race. I will try and keep an eye on it. But we are now getting ready to cross the line. And we are on the helicam. And we will see where these guys fare. We'll watch from Liam so it gives us a good view of the top half of the grid. And we'll see where we go. And it's green. They are go. Once again, the Honda gets an absolute lightning start. Dan just tucking in to try and take some of the tow, and the Bentley as well, getting a good launch. But everyone's so far 2x2 getting on the arc. It is a bit wet, like an arc is needed. But so far, so good. Look at this. This is how the pros do it, ladies and gentlemen. These guys have been great at the start of this grade. I've said it now, so watch for the 20-car pileup that's about to happen, because commentators curse. And so, yeah, at the moment, no one has made any major moves from what I can see. Everyone's still sitting around their positions that they were in. So we'll keep an eye as we go. Christmas and P10 still for the AMs. Nice clean getaway. There is literally... I think Rasmus Abelstead has... Yeah, there's been a little bit of an incident there. Let's have a look and see if we can see what that is. Let's just go back and see. I don't think it was much. Yeah, I don't think it was much at all, actually, so I do apologise. But we'll see what happened. There was a bit of contact. So Rasmus is the Beamer, the black and red Beamer. Oh, okay, Russ Brown, yeah, does just lose it on the exit. And there was a little bit of contact, but nothing... major doing there. Right, back to the front. 1.3 is the gap already. Matt has just decided I'm out of DRS range. Not that there is DRS, but I'm out. I'm gone. I need to be away from the rest of them. Have a nice clean race and then pick up as many points as I can. Liam Page all over the back of Aiden Carter. That won't phase Aiden. He is a very, very well-versed racer. But behind them, Ben and Paul Sadlowski, the two RTO drivers, usually very good in the wet. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on. I know Paul was struggling with a bit of rear-end grip in that in the Mustang. Had a few issues with reliability on his wheel last week as well, so hoping that doesn't come back. We got Paul Whitburn for RTO under pressure from James Rawlins in SOP, looking left, looking right, trying to put off the RTO driver. He's gonna have to give him space on the outside maybe. Nope, he thinks no, I'm not going to try it there, but there is a good little move on the way behind them. You've got Ellis Linder trying to overtake Daniel Granes, but Daniel is now moved back up. There is a little bit of contact, but nothing much, and everyone has to check up, and that leaves Paul Cook in the PC Sim Racing Ferrari able to have a look at the back of Daniel Zlatnik from the wildcards to the AMS. But Daniel Zlatnik moves up a position, but he's not giving it up. Paul Cook having a good little look on the outside. Daniel having to defend. Is there a cutback on the cards? It doesn't look like it. Needs to get a good exit. Two Ferraris fighting very, very well there. But Chris Wilson in the AMS, P10 at the moment, is just checked out a little bit. So we need to keep an eye on some of these times. Oh no, that's Zlatnik. He's got a bit wide as he's gone into the Piratella. I'll get it right one day. I'll just start making all the London noises and everyone will just think I'm doing it right, yeah? No, maybe not. Paul Whitburn still defending from James Rawlins. Got the inside as they come into the chicane, and Paul does give him space. Oh, there's a bit of a touch, and I think Paul does go around, and he could have got it carried on, and James just lifted off to try not to, as he does, being a very clean and nice guy, has decided that he was going to lift off, but nothing happening there. And Paul does get it going again, albeit at the back of the grid. So Dan Watts with the fastest lap, 0.3 better than Matt Whitburn on that lap. But the person on the move at the moment, Ben Nergard, all over the back of Liam Page in the Bentley, and following him is his teammate from RTO Racing, Paul Sadlowski. Or Sadlowski, as I should really say. I've got these guys are in my team and I still ruin their names. And then a bit further back, Fabian Wenger looking to have a go on the pros. This is how fast he is, and Christoph Holzer has followed him. Chris Wilson as well. This is a good little battle here for P7 on track. Judabal is just a little bit off the pace, I think, at the moment in this race, but I'm sure he will be moving his way back forward once he has to stop looking at the silver driver behind him. You do get a bit defensive, and then obviously that makes you a bit slower as well, so sometimes it can be better just to try and concentrate going forward. If you know you've got a driver like Fabian behind you where he's clean, you can just concentrate a little bit further forward. He's not going to send it from miles back. There's no point as well. Pro and silver, he could lose the silver lead to Holzer, who's all over the back of him actually. So this will be interesting. No, that's not the right one. There we go. Alonso's on the camera work, ladies and gentlemen. You can see the spray coming off the back of the Ferrari. As they come into the first of the Ravazzas. It's all about exit, I think. This one has just died down a little bit, and the gap. Ben Nergard's also made a slight mistake. Either that or Liam Page. I think Liam Page actually has just had a great lap. And as I said, Dan was doing a good race and catching up. He has now managed to... that's very loud. I do apologise, guys. I've just seen how loud that is. Yeah, he's just done the fastest lap. 0.4 quicker than Dan's fastest, but even better, 0.7 quicker than Dan on that previous lap. The gap now, 2.1 seconds, not 1.8 that you see on your screen. When that updates, you'll see that happen. And Liam Page has just broken away from Ben Nergard there. He did a really good lap on that last lap. And Ben is now trying to play catch-up. Paul Sadlowski's obviously made a mistake. He's dropped a bit further back as well. But he doesn't want to do too much like that, because then he will be behind Fabian Wenger, who has now got past He has now managed to get past him. We missed it. I do apologise. Jadubal in the McLaren. So, how far can Fabian Wenger get? Looking absolute mighty in that Ferrari today. And can Christoph Holzer follow him? That's the thing. As we look back from the McLaren to Christoph Holzer. Excellent. Yeah, they were very good. Very, very good first lap. Oh, that's how we like it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how we like it. Oh, he's just gone a bit deep. The McLaren not liking. Doesn't have a front end that's just biting. That's what's causing Jadabal's pace drop at the moment. He's now holding up Christoph Holzer, I think, and he's on a good run as they come across the line. He needs to get past him because Wenger has just dropped him by a second on that lap. So are we going to see a move coming into the first corner? He's got the toe. He's going to look on the outside. He's going to go on the grass. Oh my word, that was scary. Holy moly, managed to keep it in a straight line. That is great work from Holzer. I think he just didn't expect the car not to grip as he went round there and just tried to put it on the outside. And yeah, nearly ended up having an almighty crash. So great way to keep everything going. Paul Whitburn trying to make his way back through the grid. Father of race leader Matt Whitburn is on the inside of Perry now. Is he going to manage to make it move? Gibbs it nice and clean, lots of room, great racing, and he's now moved up into P20. Both these guys doing a really good job there to keep it nice and clean. Paul Cook only just back from Elias Linder. These two have been fighting a little bit in this race. Is he able to make his way further forward? Have we lost Daniel Zlatnik? I think we have lost Daniel Zlatnik. Zlatnik is not on the track at the moment. So that is a shame. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But yeah, that is such a shame. I think we've lost Daniel Zlatnik. Not sure what's going on. If he's had an accident or if he's had a disconnect. But that is really, really a shame for Daniel Zlatnik today. So, still a good little scrap from the wildcard Paul Cook. Is he going to manage to make his way through? He's got to try and catch Grenes in P13. That's who he's fighting at the moment for it. Fabian Wenger is 1.2 away now. Christoph Holzer is trying to catch back up to the back of Judabal. It's 0.8 at the moment. It was 0.4, so he's made a little bit of mistake after that last time being. And you're now seeing Paul Cook look like he's going to make a move along the main straight. You've got a good exit out of the final corner. You've got James Rawlins trying to keep up and catch up with these guys. And there is much gap given and much space given. That's good racing. Slides up the inside. But, oh my god, you can't keep touching him like that. You can't keep touching him like that. Elias Linder, that was a little bit unfair there, I think. That was not one, not two, but 3 hits on the rear. And I think the stewards might have something to say about that after the race when the reports come in. Now James Rawlins really looking... Oh, and he has to check up. And luckily, Ramus Abelstead was awake because he saw that coming and just checked out enough of a gap on the Aston Martin that he didn't run up in the back of him. So, great bit of racing there. Unlike a little bit earlier on. 4 seconds is the gap. Matt Whitburn has pulled on Dan Watts. Matt Whitburn... An absolute monster, 46.650. The fastest lap of the race on the last lap is nearly over 6 tenths of a second quicker than Dan is able to do at this time in the race. So we'll have to see if Dan makes an early stop to try and maybe change pressures in tyres. Maybe he's not got them quite right. And yeah, we'll see how he goes and see if he's able to close that back up. Christoph Holzer is still all over the back of Judabal, but he's lost touch now with Wenger. Wenger's managed to gap these guys. Has got a little bit of... it's nearly 2 seconds now, so about 3 laps he's pulled 2 seconds. You can see the pace that Wenger has. And it'd be interesting to see FPS drop to 5. Oh, really? Oh. Well, there you go. That'll do it. That's annoying. I mean, it does happen when you've got wet races. So we've got another scrap as we go here. James Rawlins now moves up the inside, and is now if Elias Linder, is he going to give him a nudge again? No, he did. Okay, so he did let him go that time. Linder Racing live on Twitch normally if you want to go check him out. And now he's got Rabelstead all over the back of him. So don't forget, this is all for position. And they got to catch Lockwood, who's 8 seconds up the road at the moment if they want a podium. And he's going to send it up the inside. And is he going to make it stick? I don't think he is. Yeah, he's just dropped a little bit further back in the BMW. So I didn't get a good exit out of the previous corner. It'd be nice if my mouse would work. There we go. Through Tozer. Coming down to Acro Minerali. Acro Minerali, mate. Steam Start Langer, start refresh your page, should fix it. Okay, good. So you're happy it's all working. It should be working now anyway. I've not had any stuttering. It was my end, but it seems to have fixed it. So hopefully it's solved. So Ben Nergard has just dropped off the back of Liam Page. It was 1.6, but I think he's made a mistake there because he's dropped a bit further back. Aidan Carter doing an absolute sterling job in P3, holding off Liam from the podiums at the moment. Lap times at the moment, Liam was about just over half a tenth quicker on that lap, so not a lot. So between them, it is back and forth. In fact, Aidan just did his fastest lap. Oh, and he gets a little bit sideways coming out of the turn number 3 there. Getting the power down a bit too hard, too much lead in that right foot. Crack, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Have I missed something that you said earlier? No. Only I have issues stream, FPS drops, lag. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, just refresh, as we said, and I'm glad it's fixed. Excellent. Sorry, I missed that one, Craig. Sorry. So, how are the AMs doing? We've got Brian Bond at the back of the grid at the moment for P&O Cruises, coming around the final corner. Andrea Luongo for Team SPX in the Mustang, P23. He was trying to chase down Russ Brown, who had done really good qualifying. And if he could just keep the pace that he has at the moment, if he can just keep that 50.8, he will catch Daniel Solis. Alright, Daniel Solis fastest lap, 51.3. So if he can keep that 50.8, just keep banging in the same lap time, nice and consistent, he will slowly pull himself back up to Daniel Solis. And that would be a podium in the AM. So that's what he needs to do. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Is it Triux? See, I don't know why I keep saying it out loud. I should have just said it in my head. That's the one, and then said it out loud. Apologies, but yeah, thank you so much for helping us out there. That's really good of you, really kind. Thank you, everyone. Welcome to the stream. So Chris Wilson is now all over the back of Tom Solis for the Silvers. Chris I think, had a mistake in that. Has he made a mistake? No, he hasn't. No, not that I know of. But he's definitely, he was on the back of the guys ahead before. So maybe it was Tom Solis, actually, that's dropped back a little bit. But Chris Wilson's lap times are quicker than Tom Solis's by around about a second a lap. So that's maybe what it is. Chris has just caught up with Tom over the last couple of laps. That's why that's just thrown me a little bit. So let's see if this manages to conjure up a move. We do like that, Aston Martin. It's good to see Astons in the grid. We've got James Rawlins, Chris Wilson, and Russ Brown all in the Aston Martin. Matt Whitburn's not getting much of a look in. I'm sorry, Matt, but you're too quick. Slow down, have a fight with Dan, and then you'll get on screen action. Now we have a yellow flag thrown a minute ago. Not quite sure what that was for. Number 60, I think. That's Christoph Holzer, who's been in the pits. So Christoph Holzer has been in the pits nice and early and has got his stop out of the way. Has not got a penalty for it, so that's good. So we'll see how he gets on through the rest of this lap. Interesting to see, has he managed to get... Yeah, so he's boxed and dropped right to the back of the grid. So that'll be interesting news for the rest of the field. Now, are we going to see a move going into turn number 1? Get the spray off the Ferrari. Aston Martin looking really quick. Doesn't need to make a silly move. David Graness behind him is not in the, fighting for either of these two guys for position. Although Graness is a teammate of Jadibal, so you might want to get up and just have a bit of fun with his team. Yep, I think you're right. I think it is an undercut there, mate. Yep, absolutely. That sound of that Aston, you can't listen to it. I'm just going to shut up for a minute so you can hear it. Just touching the grass there as he got in the braking points. That might have woke him up a little bit. Really smooth on the wheel, though. Look at his inputs. Nice and steady. Not just yanking the wheel. That Aston doing an absolute brilliant job underneath Chris Wilson right now. Oh, getting a bit too much curb then, but the Ferrari ran a little bit wide. So this might make it a bit more interesting. You might want to make a move now as they come into the final two corners, the Ravazzas. Oh, he gets a little bit sideways under braking, decides better of it. Doesn't need to do anything silly here. I mean, me personally, I'd even let Graness go. And just, I mean, he's got 12 seconds, to the car behind Jordan Lockwood in P3 as well. We'll see how they go down the straight here, if there's any moves. If not, then we'll cut and see how Jordan's getting on in the Galaxy Beamer. He's in the tow. He breaks the tow. He's not, maybe he looks like he's cooling his tires down. Maybe there's not as much rain out there as they expected in this race. Obviously, it's not dry enough at all for dries. And I don't think you'll see dries at all during the race. Shouldn't see. If you see dries in this race, then it's a mistake. I can assure you that right now. So, but Christoph Holzer definitely is doing an undercut. He went in nice and early, found himself a gap, knew that he was going to be towards the back of the grid, and yeah, he's trying to make his way back further forward now. So yeah, Dan Watts 6.5 back. No moves from these guys. So we'll catch Jordan Lockwood, who's trying to keep that P3 from James Rawlins, who's pulled away from Adelstead now in the other Beamer, and he's decided that the Aston needs to take on another one. So can he move up to P12 overall, third in class? This will be a good little scrap, I can assure you. Two very good drivers, very well known to RTO. That's very, very wide from Rawlins. He's definitely lost time there. He's lost half a second. So yeah, all that gain. He just needs to try again, sir. So for everyone in the chat, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to hit that follow button. And we need to see lots more of you guys in our chat, chatting away and watching the videos for what we do here at RTO. Trying to keep the leagues going. And he's looking left, looking right. He's caught him back up straight away. So you can see the pace difference at the moment. So let's see what it was last time round. So Jordan Lockwood's 48.685. James Rawlins last time around 47.802. Interesting to see what the difference is this time, because James has lost half a second on that last lap. He's going to try and have a go on the outside on the main straights. Plenty of space as they come down into the first chicane. And he gets it nicely on the brakes, up the inside. And Jordan Lockwood didn't fight that too much, trying to keep it nice and clean. And great move from James Rawlins. Great racing from both these guys. So well done, Jordan, for keeping it nice and clean there, working it very well. And James. So another scrap still brewing. These guys have not lost each other for the entire race. You got Rasmus Abelstead, Edius Linder in the purple Ferrari, Paul Cook on the inside doing a great job, not one but two in one corner. That is a great move from Paul Cook. Size that one up nicely, gets both cars in one corner. Thank you very much. On to the next one. Can he do anything now about catching not Erasmus Alvestead, Jordan Lookwood, 8 seconds up the road. Let's see if that Ferrari has any pace for Paul Cook. PC Sim Racing, I'm guessing that's Paul Cook Sim Racing. So, and he's also on a PC. So, yeah. James Jordan's 12 seconds behind Chris Wilson. Can James do anything about catching the guys ahead of him? Maybe Jordan can try and just follow the lines and see if he can go with James for SOP. Oh, and Elias Linder gets it all wrong going across the chicane, and that's allowed Paul Whitburn on the comeback train. He was last earlier. He's now up to P17. This is a great little comeback from Paul. He's already all over the back of Elias Linder, who actually put him off in the first couple of corners on lap number 2. I think it was lap 2 or 3. So, yeah, be interesting how Paul plays this one. We'll keep an eye on it. I'm sure he'll give him plenty of room this time and make sure he gets the job done and gets down the road. As we look back on the rear wing, over the rear wing of the Ferrari. Oh, the McLaren is much later on the brakes. Wow, that gap closed. I thought that was going to be something different there. And, yep, still on the back of the Ferrari. Paul's done a great job coming back through the grid after that contact. Can he make short work of Elias Linder? Or is Elias going to do everything he can to try and hold him back? Up the hill to Peralta. Down into Aqua Minerale, cutting the curb, running to the white side. Don't touch the curb on the outside, clip the curb on the inside. You can use the curb on the outside to as you come up the hill, because it compresses the car, helps you get some grip. And he has pulled a little bit of a gap through the two Minerales. Well, just Minerale. And through Variante Alta, down the hill they go, around the left-hand bend of turn number 16 into the Ravazzas, the first of the Ravazzas, the two left-handers. Is Paul going to be close enough for a run? Don't think he's got a bit out of sorts coming over the final corner. Got a lot of inside curb. Both these guys on a... Well, Paul's not on a better lap, but Elias Linder's on a better lap than he's put in previously. So, yeah, there we go. That's his fastest lap. Elias Linder really re-engaged. Now he's got another silver driver behind him. So Paul needs to try and make short work of the Ferrari. Back at the front, we haven't seen him much, so we'll have to check him out. Matt Whitburn, just doing a great job at the moment, keeping it nice and steady on the track, keeping it in the dry line. You can see that dry line appearing. If you go off wide, that you're going to end up costing yourself a lot of time. And doing a really good job. I am keeping an eye on the times between some of the drivers. No one fighting as much yet. The closest two, actually, we'll cut to those in a minute, because there could be a bit of a battle about to happen. In fact, we'll do it now, because they are really close. Down, what, 7 seconds behind. Aiden Carter in front of these guys here. So this is the battle for the podiums. Do the RTO racers race each other and probably hold each other up at the moment? Or do they just settle in and try and keep with the guys ahead and then try and race later on? There is no team orders allowed in RTO. You're not allowed team orders, and that includes RTO drivers. So they are supposed to be racing each other. What I mean by that is Paul just going to sit, not try and attack Ben so they don't drop further back from the two ahead. Try and get a good pit stop and see if they can make a move during the pits. Wow, I mean, Paul, the difference between Chris Wilson when we're on board and Paul there, how sideways that Mustang is. There you go, look, catching the rear all the time. That's just losing him time every time it does it. And yeah, really struggling with the setup on that car at the moment. See, he's soaring at the wheel, trying to get it to stay where he needs it to be on the track, and unfortunately just not able to get a good exit. And every time he goes sideways, Ben is able just to pull away a little bit. There was 3 tenths between these guys. It's now 8 tenths of a second. So you can see the gap out of the middle sector where it is tight and twisty and everything else. The Mustang, you can see it there, just kicking its tail out. Yeah, it just means that Paul loses just a little bit as they go back towards the Variante Alta chicane and drop down the hill. You see it like snaking around all over the place, like he's on ice. He's definitely not happy in that Mustang, but doing a great job keeping up with the guys ahead. I think you'll find Ben is just sat at the moment, just trying to hold station and have a good pit stop, and maybe see if he can jump maybe both these guys to get a P3. We'll come back in that one. Paul Whitburn has just made a move on Elias Linder. Let's see if we can see that on a replay. So coming up into Toza on the inside, keeping him nice and wide, gets a good exit. Ferrari on the curb a little bit means that he's going to be a little bit squirrely. But Paul managed to keep it on the drier line, so he gets alongside as they come up into Pirat. Yep, that one. And then slides up the inside. Great move. Both these guys keeping it nice and clean this time, and that is Paul released up into P16 and able to go chase after Rasmus Avelstedt now in Fear Nothing Moto BMW. Paul Sadlowski still now, so he catches him down the straight as you'd expect in that Mustang. But let's see how he goes. So he was 0.4, right, 0.3 as they cross the line. What is it going to be now? I think it's 0.5, so he's dropped a little bit back again as he's on the exits of corners. Getting a bit too much curb, I think, sometimes in that thing. I'm sure he's got wet tyres on and not slicks. Although it wouldn't put it past him because he likes to go sideways. I think that thing in any other driver's hands would have been round. They would have looped it by now because that thing is very, very, very loose, as it's said in the States. Or here in Europe, oversteery. As you can see there, it's just on the exit of that curb. It just bounces and just loses the traction. But he's much closer this lap than he was on the previous. So if he can have a good couple of final corners, maybe he will be in a position to try and do something in to the first chicane into the Tamburello. Oh, and Ben boxes. So there you go. Ben saw that coming, thinking, right, that'll do. Let's just box. Let's get this over and done with. So that's an early trigger pull. And we've also got Paul Whitburn in the pits. And he has jumped Rasmus Avelstedt as well. So Paul had a 27.6 pit stop, so he did not change tyres. Rasmus did, because he had a 30-second pit stop. So there you go, that's the difference. So I think you'll find that Paul hasn't got new tyres on, so he might benefit for the first lap or so with a warm-up. But maybe in towards the end of the race, he is going to struggle. So people that made their pit stops, Brian Bond, who I think, yeah, Brian Bond has, but he's a couple of laps down, so obviously had damage. Daniel Solis has. Who is that? Oh, someone else is in the pit, sorry. Rasmus Avelstedt, Paul Whitburn, and Christoph Holzer. Christoph Holzer, don't forget, went in very early, around about sort of 18 minutes into the race. So he will have benefited from new tyres in this first part of the stint, but then towards the end of the stint when they're wearing out, if the guys he's chasing down, who was Fabian Wenger, don't forget, for the lead of Silvers, if those tyres wear down and the other guys take tyres, he is going to be struggling to potentially beat them. Ben out of the pits. Elshro Perry. Oh, this is a good little scrap. Good job we caught that one. So Perry is defending from Russ Brown, who's doing a great job. He's up into P2 in class. Has caught Ben Monroe. We've missed that bit. I do apologise, guys. As we said, if he just kept the same lap time going, he would catch him, and he has. 49.9 is his fastest lap. And most of his laps, from what I can see, are within sort of half a second of that. So that's very, very good driving. Perry moves up into P14. That looks like a move on the inside. But Ben Monroe fighting with... Why is that not going to Ben? I want Ben. There we go. Sorry, it went to the wrong driver there. Paul Cook with an SG30 for speeding in the pit lane. That will be removed. I'm hoping that the steward is now able to do it. We did check it. He has done it. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. It works. I didn't have to do it myself this time. So there we go. So that means he will get a... Paul Cook will get a 10-second time penalty. for speeding in the pit lane. So that will, I mean, that's going to be better for him, so it means he doesn't have to go back in the pit, sit there, because that's race over. That's race done. There has been contact. What has happened here? I think there's been contact here between 296. Yeah, hang on, let me have a look and see what's gone on. So the two guys ahead of him, he is not. So Dan is 9 seconds. Alright, we've restarted the stream. I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen, about the issues that we're having tonight. It's not quite sure what's going on there. So I do apologise. But, yeah. So, Dan Watt still behind Matt Whitburn. Jordan Lockwood leading the race. Out in front. Not boxed yet. He's the only one left to do so. Luongo now with a 30-second penalty as well. So, yeah, we need to check that one out. That's now been on the way. And, yeah, unfortunately, we are just lagging. And I'm just not quite sure what's going on. So, apologies, ladies and gentlemen, if there is an issue here. Ben Munro in the books now, P15, P2 in class, so he is racing Russ Brown, who is currently P3 in class after his pit stop, through the chicane, and then see if he can come back out and jump back into P2. Munro completed his stop, that means he is dropped down from the jacks and is now moving. This is going to be very close, actually. Oh, he just dropped out of the way. There he is there. So, still got quite a way of the pit lane to go. Russ Brown coming around the final corner. This is going to be very close as they come out of the pits. This is going to be down into turn 1. It's such a long pit lane here. Russ Brown coming down here. Russ Brown has got this one. He has got this in the bag, I think, because as soon as he gets past it, he's going to be like racing speed. Ben Munro's coming out of the pit box now. This is going to be so close. Oh, my word. And he hasn't, no, Russ Brown has not managed to get Ben Munro. Ben Munro fighting off and keeping it into P3. Brian Bond jumping out of the way so that he does not get involved in this race, in this battle, sorry. In the race, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? Sorry, buddy. I think we've solved the problem now with the stream, I think. So apologies if there was issues there earlier on. But yeah, we've had 3 penalties out of everybody who got pit lane infringements. James Rawlins will be kicking himself for that one. He had a good chance of P3. But he is quite far back now. I think he's, what is he? 17 seconds back, plus another 10. So Paul Cook's looking to get within that 10 seconds now and move himself up. And I tell you who is having a fantastic race. David Grenes from Fear Nothing Moto managed to jump his teammate Jadubal in the pits and is now up into P9. Lap times, let's have a look. Last lap 48.467 for Grenes, and then Jadubal was a 49.765. So a bit of a difference in time. Jordan Lockwood finally takes that Galaxy Beamer into the pit and relinquishes the lead to Matt Whitburn. Dan Watts P2. Ben Nergard has managed to make it. No, that's not Ben Nergard. Ben Nergard is there. Up into P3. Liam Page P4. So we've got a 1, 2, 3 for the RTO boys in the league at the moment in the pros. Can Ben hold off an absolute charging Bentley? And Aiden Carter, I think taking tyres was going to be... I think that's kicked him in the teeth there. I'm sure he's kicking himself for it and thinking maybe I shouldn't have done it. But still, 18 minutes to go. There's plenty of laps left, and I'm sure he will have much better tyres. In fact, on that last lap, he was nearly a second faster than Liam Page on that last lap. So that would be interesting to see how that holds out. There was a 47.2 from Aiden Carter. Liam Page with a 48.0. We've got coming out of the pits in P13. The Jordan is now out of the pits in P13, which means he is just behind. Why has he got 15 seconds? What's going on there? But he's just behind Tom Solis. So with 18 minutes to go, can Jordan catch 13 seconds and take a podium place from Tom Solis, or can Tom hold on into a very veteran mode? Is Tom in RTO League Racing? Great to see him back, and now bringing his brother along with him as well, Daniel Solis, who is currently P4 for the AMS. Russ Brown moving up into P3, and then Ben Monroe is P2 at the moment. Russ Brown really trying to hassle that car, but got a little bit wide. He had to get out of the way, actually, of Aiden Carter coming through. You've got Paul Sadlowski a bit further back as well. Ben Nergard has had an absolute stormer of a box. He boxed early, we saw it, and it was a pretty much perfect stop. 26.9 seconds stopped from the jacks going up and then back down again, and a 42-second pit time compared to Paul Sadlowski with a 30-second stop and a 42-second pit time. So yeah, very shows you the speed difference that he did. Aiden Carter with a 32-second. Same with David Gurness as well. Daniel Solis getting absolutely bullied at the moment by all the pros coming through. Can't really seem to put his car in the right place without another one jumping on him. So that's really hindering him moving forward to try and chase down Russ Brown for a P3. Yeah, no worries, Brian. No worries, mate. Sorry if the stream has been a bit garbage today. The stream is very laggy, and I do apologise. So, yeah, we're not going to be... I don't think we're going to keep this up as a VOD, because it's just terrible. I don't know what's happened. Going through the chicane. Dropping down to the Ravazzas. Daniel Solis doing a great job though, P4. So let's go and check out the leader of the AMS, Chris Wilson, doing a great job chasing down Christoph Holzer. Christoph Holzer is about 7 seconds back from the leader in silvers, Wenger. Let's have a look at the lap times. 49.1 for Wenger in the last lap. Christoph Holzer a 48.2, so he's catching him at a second lap on that pace. Let's see what he does on this next lap as Fabian Wenger crosses the line momentarily. 48.6. Christoph Holzer is going to cross the line, and I think it's going to be about a 48.2. 48.1, so yeah, another half a second. Christoph Holzer on the charge. 15 minutes to go. Can he do enough? He's got two cars to try and get past, though, once he gets there. One of them is a pro, the other is a wild card. So neither of them are fighting for position. He's just after trying to get past Fabian Wenger, or get on the back of him towards the end of the race. So let's see if he can manage to do that. But Wenger doing a great job in the pro class as well. But Chris Wilson, we got on your screens at the moment. Driver of the day for me. If he can keep this position, that is a great result for an AM driver in the wet conditions. So very, very good. Oh, I don't think so, Brian. You did a good job, mate. You did a good job, buddy. I think, yeah, Lungo is also now retired and disappeared from the race. Just don't forget, do the last lap or something, Brian, so that you get points. Otherwise, it's a DNF, mate. So, where's the battles that we need to keep an eye on? Aiden Carter, 1.8 back from Liam Page. He's catching, he is really catching Liam. He's catching him by nearly a second a lap. Those new tyres are working really well for Aiden Carter. Matt Whitburn is literally keeping, you know, within a second of his fastest lap time as well. And Dan is doing the same. So, you can see the tyres are about a drop-off of about a second a lap. Once you get into the sort of second half of the race. So you can see the new tyres do make a difference, but is it worth that 5-6 seconds left in the box that you have? That's the key question that you need to answer. So David Grimes, actually, Grenes, sorry. David Grenes on the back of Fabian Wenger. He does have his teammate, but not in the same class, Judabile behind him. But there is 11.7 gap to Paul Sadlowski ahead. Top 6 have just broken away from the rest of the guys here. Yeah, no worries, Brian. No worries, buddy. So, here's catching Nymphanger as well. Aiden Carr, 1.8 back now from Liam Page. Keep an eye on that gap over the next 5 minutes, because if that gets below a second... Oh no, he's just dropped a little bit on this lap. He's made a mistake on this lap. And only caught Liam by 4/10 or 3/10 actually on that final lap. So if he needs to catch him by 3/10 a lap, so that he's on him for the final couple of laps. So he's got a couple of chances to make a move. And yeah, try and get his way back into the top 4. But we know how good a driver Liam is for SOP, so I'm sure he'll be thinking, actually, I'm trying to catch Ben. But their lap times are very similar at the moment. Paul Sadlowski is actually doing quicker times than both of the drivers ahead of him. He's only 3 seconds back, so you never know. Paul Sadlowski, towards the end of this race, if he keeps that pace, could potentially make his way back into the fight for the top 4 as well. Rasmus Abelstead is 0.8 back at the moment from Mr. Whitburn, although he's just lost a 10th or 2 then. So maybe just went off the track. He's actually lost half a second, so yeah, he must have just gone off the track. Paul Whitburn didn't change tyres either, but he is catching Paul Cook, who's it's not full position. But I mean, well, technically he's caught him and James Rawlins, I believe, at the moment. Depending on the gap, because James Rawlins got a 15-second penalty, so that means he's got to drive through for track limits, and he's got a 10-second, an SG30 for in the pits speeding. Oh, I mean, it's very close. If Rawlins can pull out another second, Matt Whitburn will not catch him. So Matt needs to really keep his pace up to take P5 in the silver class, which would be a great little comeback from the incident at the start of the race. Aiden Carr, 1.3 now from Liam Page. He's had a great lap on that last lap. This lap currently, there's only coming through the final few corners. So I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll keep an eye on this little battle we got on the screen right now, because Wenger, what does he do? Does he give up the place, or does he try and fight Grenes, being a wildcard driver? I mean, me personally, I'd just let him go. I would not even be tempting fate. There's a 6-second gap back to the next driver, and then another 1.6 to the next rival, so not worth fighting. But he is behind the back marker, so he does get a good exit, get a bit of a tow. The lapped car moving nicely out of the way. In fact, teammates, that is getting out of the way there nicely. Oh no, wait, so that was Daniel Solis. I do apologise. That was Daniel Solis. My bad. And Hey, who's caught all of this lot? Christoph Holzer. Christoph Holzer, we told you he was on a bit of a march, and he needs to catch and, you know, pass a few cars. But he is right on the tail of these two now. And I tell you what, Greness is all over the back of Paul Sadlowski. Has got a 5-second time penalty for drive-through on track limits changed. So that's his charge to the top 5 pretty much done. Aiden Carr 6/10 back, and Greness gets a really good move done there on Fabian Wenger. I don't think Wenger decided to fight that too hard. He just let it go. Racing with his head. Right, now let's get on to this scrap, because this is the one we need to see. Aiden Carter all over the back of Liam Page. The new tyres really have worked to get him back towards his rival, but it cost him a lot in the pits. So he must have had a poor in-lap as well compared to the rest of the drivers. But look at this. He's got such better traction out of the corners. The only driver is literally going to be done and dusted, I think, as he goes into the first corner. Although that Bentley is so fast, Liam covering the inside, literally on the grass, nearly touch as he hit the curb. He's really defending hard on the inside. Can the only driver go on the outside in car, or is he going to think, nope, just concentrate on getting a better exit? And Liam Page does take too much curve. The bottom of the Bentley bottoming out, and again, really all over the curve. Those are dry lines, Liam, come on. And Aiden is now on the inside, and this is going to be really close. Both these drivers with lots of respect for each other, racing together on multiple occasions. And then Liam Page chops across the front of the BMW to make sure that he knows he's not coming up the inside there. All while that's happening, Paul Sadlowski's catching these guys. Can he pass them and move 5 seconds down the road? Let's see what happens. Oh, so it was another DT, was it? Okay. Are you writing these down, are you, Ryan? But this is a great little scrap here. Oh my word! This is what makes you want to race, guys. This is if you're not looking at this thinking I want to get involved in racing like this, then we need to have a chat. This is great fun. This is how you go racing, guys. Lots of respect, giving each other space, not pushing each other off the track. Hard but very fair racing. As we look over the back of the Bentley. I do love the sound of this car, though. Let's see the traction between these two as they come out of the final corner this time. Liam just checking up on the way in to get a better exit, and it worked. Hunt Rogan, evening. How are you doing, sir? Welcome into the stream. If you are seeing laggy, just turn it down from 2K. It should be okay. We've had a bit of an issue on this one, so I do apologise. And the Beamer is gaining. He did stay in the tow, though, for long enough. And he's now going to try on the outside. Is he going to make it stick? It does not look like it. He now just cuts back again. Again, the Bentley takes over the curb nice and heavy. And he's going to cut the curb again, is he? No, he does think better of it this time. He did realise that was a dry line. And like I said, as I've said all along, all this fighting has brought Paul into this as well. So this is now a three-way scrap for P4. Matt Whitburn has just checked out at the front for RTO. The top 3 RTO drivers, Dan Watts and Ben Nergard. So it is a 1-2-3 at the moment. Good to hear it, Hunt. Good to hear it. Thanks for coming in. And are you a sim racer yourself? Are you a ACC driver, PC, console? What is it? And Aiden, I mean, that Bentley, I mean, he's making it. How wide do you want to make that Bentley? I mean, that Bentley's like 4 cars wide at the moment, and he's now run wide, though. He does get a good exit, but he might get a track warning for that one. And now Aiden isn't just looking forward, he's looking back, because there is an angry Mustang that has closed him down, and a very tail-happy Mustang. So, yeah, it will be interesting to see who makes the most of the battle ahead. Usually at this point, the guy in the middle is the one that's vulnerable. If the guy at the back has the most to gain, and the guy at the front is literally just has to defend one person. So yeah, you do play ACC on VR on PC in VR. Excellent, good. What VR headset do you use, buddy? And out of the final corner now. That's it. See the Mustang getting really sideways again. Now this time he is much closer. Got a much better exit using those new tyres compared to Liam's old ones, and he pulls out of the draft. Liam going to defend the inside again. This time he is fully alongside. Who is going to be the latest on the brakes? I think Onid It's going to be ahead of SOP. It is. And, oh, my word, RTO nearly followed him through. But Liam was like, I don't think so. I was very kind to one. You can, well, the proverbial off, sir. Pico 4. Oh, right, okay, nice. I must admit, headsets, VR headsets to me, I've got a Quest 2, but for ACC it's garbage. So I run triples and just do it that way. I'd get too hot. I don't know about you, but I'd get absolutely roasted in the weather that we've been having. So yeah. Anyway, back to the action. Aiden with a great move for Onid over at SOP, and now he is looking backwards once again because Paul Sadlowski in that angry stang is all over the back of him. Just over, or just under 4 minutes to go. 13 seconds is the lead, and 4 seconds back to P3. And silvers, we've got Fabian Wenger still leading the way in the silvers. Christoph Holzer is catching, but unfortunately I think it's not going to be enough unless there is a big mistake from the Ferrari driver in the lead of the silvers. Chris Wilson absolutely bossing the AMs at the moment, as you can see, with the red card. 49 in the Aston. P11, I think he pretty much started there. He has been an absolute driver of the day for me. That is a great result from him, if he can maintain that between now and the end of the race. James Rawlins will be kicking himself because he's got a huge penalty there, and at the moment Paul Whitburn is going to jump him to P5 in the silvers, and on a comeback train is Mr. Whitburn from having a bit of an accident at the start, getting a bit of a nudge in the first couple of corners. This is Paul Whitburn for RTO in the McLaren. So he's trying his best to get back towards the top of the silvers. And then another driver who was really, really impressed today, Mr. Russ Brown for Badger Racing, doing a really, really good job in the Aston Martin. Could have gone a bit quicker in quali, could have had a better start in position in the race, but didn't phase him. He's kept it clean, kept it on the track, raced extremely well. This is a guy that didn't want to come and race with us last season every race because he didn't think he would be quick enough, but showing just how good he really is, and doing a great job in P2 for the AMs. And then you've got Ben Munro in the Porsche. If I can get him on the screen, there we go. 10 seconds further back from Russ, but done a great job in the Porsche. It's a very tricky car, that one. He's just letting Perry go, is that? No, I think that's Tom Solis. He's letting Tom Solis go. The 92 Ferrari. It looks like he's trying to have another go back, but I can assure you he's just trying to make sure he can see his braking point. Up over the curb. So yeah, that's a rundown of the current positions. Got 2 laps to go, I think. Yeah, 2 laps to go. Matt Whitburn crosses the line way too quick, so he's got a couple of laps to go. The pace that Matt has had in this race, in fact, his last lap was the fastest lap of the race on old tyres, a 46.875. That is insane in these conditions. That is a brilliant lap. I could barely do that in the dry in that car. But no, for a wet time, that is extremely quick. So very, very, very good timings from the RTO driver at the lead. Oh my word! And Paul Sadlowski having to throw the anchor out, the piano, the ex-wife, everything to try and make that thing stop. Otherwise, he was going to mate with the Bentley. I'm not quite sure what you call a baby between a Bentley and a Mustang. I'll let you guys decide in the chat for that one. James Rawlins, actually, we need to check this out as well. James Rawlins all over the back of Jordan Lockwood. This is for P4. But, well, I say P4, on track. But once the race is over, I mean, if I was Jordan, I'd just let that go. I know I'm going to get that position back at the end of the race. And there you go. James Rawlins does move up to P13. Great to see James back on track. 2 SOP drivers, James Rawlins and Liam Page. Simon Bauer not able to be with us this week in the pros, but I'm sure he will be back very soon. Oh, Matt did slow down. So Matt decided to slow down and cross the line sideways. Apologies for that. So we've just missed that. Sorry, Matt. Great race from you, sir. Finishing in P1. Great job. Paul Sadlowski, 5-second penalty. still. Matt beat his teammate Dan. And they're going to kiss. Oh my word. And yep, the 3 RTO drivers park nearly line astern. So Ben Nergard, P3, good little comeback from him. Great job. Aiden Carter, P4, good result, sir. Liam Page does hold off a charging Stang, as you can see. He's going to go for his... Nope. He was trying for a drift, but now he wants it to drift. It won't do it. David Grenes, great first race for the wildcards. P7, giving his fellow Honda driver a bit of love, so well done. Fabian Wenger wins for the Silvers. Great job, Christoph Holzer and Chris Wilson. What a racer. Take a bow. That is a great job from you, sir. Really, really good. And I'm sorry the stream is not going to show a lot of it because it's been absolute garbage, and I do apologise for the technical issues we've had. Tom Solis, James Rawlins about to cross the line. We've had Ilias Linder, Ross Brown in P2 for the Silvers. For the AMs. That's amazing. And P3, Ben Monroe. Done a great job. James Rawlins crosses the line. It does cross the line ahead of Jordan Lockwood, but unfortunately going to lose a lot of time. Paul Cook going to cross the line for P2 in the wildcards. Great job, Paul. Had a good race today. Lots of action on the track. And Paul Whitburn crosses the line in P16, 6th overall. I think that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 5th, sorry, I do apologise, 5th overall for the Silvers after the comeback race. But driver of this one is Mr. Matt Whitburn. Great race for the pros, fastest lap as well. So I'm sure he'll be very, very happy with his results. Don't forget, we have plenty more action coming for you in the RTO GT3 League. We have the... next race, which is in 2 weeks from Laguna Seca. It's going to be a hot one, I can promise you that. So just keep an eye out for the drivers when they come to race next week. I don't know why when my Spotify is gone, it's just disappeared off my screen, which is amazing. So apologies for that. So I can't even play you music at the moment. This is how well it's gone for me tonight. It's just a complete professional stream as usual. Where are you? There you go. Give me that. So Matt Whitburn is the leader. We've got Laguna Seca to come next in 2 weeks' time. Before we then move on to the next hour-long race, which is Barcelona, which will be a bit of a dusk race, that one. It's going to be slightly different for the drivers. Round is Zandvoort, and that will be 2 races of 25 minutes, and there will be a little bit of a wet one as well, so I hope you guys can come and join us for that one. It's going to be interesting as always. As you can see, the wet does make the grid a little bit more spaced out, but the action that Zandvoort will create it's going to be mayhem, and that's why it's the last race of the season, because hopefully it will drive people further up the grid, and the unexpectedness that comes of that race will potentially open up championship slots towards the end. What we'll do is we'll get the standings uploaded. If you haven't already joined us on SimGrid, then please head over to SimGrid and check out RTO over there. Let me just give you the link. Bear with me 1 second. And you can come and race with us next week as a wildcard. There's 7 spaces left in the wildcard selection. Just come and have some fun. All we ask is that you are clean. You're here for the laughs and the lols. And then we can get you on track with the rest of the guys, and you can be shown live on stream. That's not worked. Why is that done that? Choose that. I don't know why that did that, but yes, there you go. And if you are wanting to catch myself, I don't know why you would, but I don't know, you may want to catch myself on my next stream, which will be on, well, potentially tomorrow evening. We'll be doing, as long as my wheel works, because my wheel's decided to die. I'm just going to do some testing on it in a minute. But that's my Twitch. If you want to come and join us, we do some Le Mans Ultimate in the hypercars. So please come and join me for that one. Your boat sank. That's no good. Felt like P&O ferry sailed with the anchor out. Maybe will that one back in, Brian. But look, guys and girls, thank you so much for joining us. I will bring out the highlights for the race for you to be able to see, and then we will say goodnight to you, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time. Same channel, same place. Hopefully the stream will be much better next time, and I apologise if the VOD hasn't worked like it should do if you are going to watch this back. And we had some issues with the stream lagging out, so I will have to check that out. I'll leave you with the promo video, and then we'll bring you the highlights of the race just gone. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and make sure you put the bell on so you know when we go live next. So yeah, as we said, thank you very much for joining us. I'll leave you with the highlights of this race, and then we will see you in 2 weeks' time from the next round, which is Laguna Seca, and it is going to be very, very warm. So I'll leave you with the highlights. Thank you very much for joining me. I am Linksy. We are RTO, and I hope to see you on the next stream. Thank you very much. Good night. With the highlights.